Think about this. You decide to change your life, to build a new habit, study more, train consistently. On the first day, everything seems easy. On the second, things are still going well. But then the third day comes, and the motivation is no longer there. The bed feels more comfortable, the couch more inviting. And then comes the thought, just today, I'll make up for it tomorrow. And that's how the cycle of failure begins. The truth is, failure doesn't happen due to a lack of talent or opportunities. It happens when discipline doesn't step into the game, because in the end, it doesn't matter how motivated you are. What truly matters is what you do when motivation disappears. Many people wait to feel like taking action, but desire is fleeting. Procrastination appears disguised as excuses. I'll start on Monday. Now isn't the right time. Just one more episode, and then I'll do it. But that later never comes. And the worst part? The more you procrastinate, the harder it becomes to break free from this cycle. Time passes, and before you know it, nothing has changed. But what if I told you there's a way to escape this? That there is a force more powerful than motivation? Something that, if you master it, can completely transform your life. If there's one thing that separates successful people from those who remain stuck in the same place, it's this: discipline. Have you ever had one of those days when you just didn't feel like doing anything? The bed felt more comfortable, the workout seemed too exhausting, work felt unbearably dull. And then you thought, I'm not inspired today, I'll do it tomorrow. Here's the harsh truth no one likes to hear. Waiting for motivation is the recipe for failure. Successful people don't rely on inspiration to take action. They do what needs to be done, whether they feel excited or not. The difference between those who win and those who lose isn't talent, luck, or a sudden stroke of divine inspiration. It's the ability to take action, even when they don't feel like it. The weak look for shortcuts, distractions, any excuse to delay the inevitable. The strong, on the other hand, understand that the only way to achieve something great is to face what needs to be done head-on. And do you know the secret? The more you act, the more your mind gets used to acting. Discipline creates action, and action creates results. Now the real question is, why do so many people struggle to break free from this cycle of procrastination and excuses? The problem goes far beyond motivation. There's a vicious cycle that keeps most people stuck in the same place. And if you don't break this pattern, you could spend your entire life standing still. You start the day determined to be productive, but then a distraction appears. A quick video, a scroll through your feed, a coffee break that lasts longer than planned, and before you know it, time has slipped away. The promise of, I'll do it tomorrow, repeats itself, and the next day, the cycle begins again. This is the vicious cycle of weakness. The more you give in to excuses, the harder it becomes to break the pattern. The problem isn't a lack of time, talent, or opportunities. The problem is the lack of decision. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail isn't luck. It's the ability to look at their own flaws and say, enough, this ends here. And that's where discipline comes in. But real discipline, not the kind you try to apply for a few days before giving up. I'm talking about something much deeper, something that changes the way you act, think, and live. Which brings us to a crucial point. Do you really understand what discipline is? Because most people have a completely wrong idea about it. And that's what we're about to uncover. Imagine this. You come home after a long, exhausting day. The couch is calling your name. Your favorite show is just a click away. But you have a goal, a workout to complete, a project to finish. What do you choose? The answer to this question defines who you are. Discipline isn't about doing what's easy. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. And do you know the biggest mistake? Believing that discipline is just an isolated action, something you practice for a few days and then abandon. But that's not how it works. Discipline is a lifestyle. It's about controlling your emotions instead of being controlled by them. Because if you always act based on how you feel, you'll procrastinate, give up, and settle for far less than you deserve. The most successful people understand this. They don't wait to feel like taking action. They do it because they know it needs to be done. And some of them have taken discipline to such an extreme level that their names are now etched in history. Want an example? Let me show you what happens when someone turns discipline into an unstoppable weapon. You're exhausted, with no desire to train, but you know you need to. What do? Most people would give up. But the truly indomitable don't give themselves that option. They do it regardless of how they feel. Mike Tyson, one of the greatest boxers in history, once said, "I did what I hated as if I loved it." He didn't train because he liked it. He trained because he knew it was necessary, and that mindset made him a legend. David Goggins, a former Navy SEAL and ultramarathon runner, took this even further. He didn't train because he wanted to. He trained because he refused to be weak, running until his feet bled, enduring pain that would make anyone quit. For him, it was a test, a challenge against his own mind. Kobe Bryant woke up at 4 a.m. every single day to train. Why? Because he knew that if he trained more than everyone else, no one could surpass him. Discipline was what made him unstoppable. And if you think this is a modern concept, you're mistaken. The samurai lived by this principle. To them, discipline wasn't just a habit, it was a matter of life and death. They trained relentlessly because they knew that a single mistake in combat meant the end. Now you might be asking yourself, how can I develop this unshakable discipline in my daily life? The answer lies in the next steps, and the first one could completely change the way you approach your goals. Discipline isn't something you find or are born with. It is built, brick by brick, and there is a method for it. Step 1. Remove the option to quit. Commit unconditionally. Think about this. You're driving down a road with no way back, no exits, no turning around. The only option is to move forward. That's the level of commitment you need to have with your goals. Many people fail because they see their goals as optional. If it works out, great. If not, that's fine too. No. Your commitment needs to be non-negotiable. Like a samurai burning his ships upon arriving at battle, there is no retreat. There is only victory. Now you might be thinking, but how do I truly commit? Simple. Remove the option to quit. Tell someone who will hold you accountable. Bet money on your goal. Create real consequences for failure. If the only option is to move forward, you will move forward. Step 2. Start small but be consistent. Small habits create momentum. Imagine a snowball rolling down a mountain. At first it's small, but as it moves, it grows. Discipline works the same way. The biggest mistake people make is trying to change everything at once. A perfect diet, a flawless workout routine, an impeccable schedule, and what happens? They break within days. The key is consistency, not intensity. If you want to read more, don't try to read 50 pages a day. Read 2. If you want to train, don't start with an hour at the gym. Do 10 minutes. The size of the action doesn't matter. What matters is daily repetition. Small habits generate momentum, and momentum is everything. Step 3. Stop depending on emotions. Action is independent of mood. Let's be honest, you won't always feel like doing what needs to be done, but the truth is, your feelings don't matter. Kobe Bryant didn't wake up at 4 a.m. because he was motivated. David Goggins didn't run until his feet bled because he enjoyed it. They did it because they had a commitment, and that commitment was bigger than their fleeting emotions. True discipline happens when you take action, even when you don't feel like it. That's what separates you from the rest. When laziness hits, when discouragement creeps in, ask yourself, if I only act when I'm motivated, will I get where I want to be? If the answer is no, then you already know what to do. Step 4. Embrace discomfort. Struggle is a sign to keep going. Have you noticed how most people run away from discomfort? At the first sign of difficulty, they quit. But what if I told you that discomfort is proof that you're on the right track? Your muscles grow when you push them to their limits. Your mind strengthens when you push past exhaustion. Every obstacle you overcome makes you stronger. So next time you feel like stopping, remember, this means you are evolving. The great ones understand this. That's why Mike Tyson trained as if he loved what he hated, because he knew discomfort was the price of greatness. Step 5. Track your progress and hold yourself accountable. None of this matters if you don't hold yourself accountable. How can you know if you're improving if you're not tracking your progress? Write everything down, your workouts, your habits, your small victories. This not only keeps you on track, but also gives you a psychological boost. Seeing your progress written down reinforces your identity. I am a disciplined person, and more importantly, create a system of accountability. If you say you'll do something, who will ensure that you actually do it? Find a friend, a mentor, or even set a phone reminder to keep yourself in check. Without accountability, discipline weakens. Now, you know the steps to build unshakable discipline, but there's one crucial detail. Discipline alone is not enough, because in the end, your mind can be your worst enemy. If you don't know how to control it, it will sabotage you. And that's why the next step is critical, developing an iron mindset. Are you ready to learn how to turn your mind into an unbreakable fortress? Then pay attention, because what comes next might be the missing piece in your evolution. Have you ever been in the middle of an exhausting workout feeling your body beg to stop? Or maybe tackling a difficult task where your mind starts whispering, "That's enough, you've done plenty." What separates those who win from those who quit isn't talent, luck, or genetics. It's mindset. Sounds strange to say it, right? Appreciate suffering, but think about it. Everything you want in life is on the other side of discomfort. Do you think great athletes, entrepreneurs, and artists feel comfortable all the time? No, they've learned to see pain as a sign of growth. Does it hurt to wake up early to train? Yes. Does it hurt to study while others are having fun? Yes. But every drop of sweat, every sacrifice is sculpting a stronger version of yourself. Next time you feel tired, frustrated, or in pain, instead of running from it, be grateful. It means you're becoming someone that few people have the courage to be. Push past your limits. Your mind wants to stop at 40%, but you can go beyond. This isn't just theory. Studies show that when you feel like you've reached your limit, your body still has at least 60% of its energy left. Do you know who takes this to the extreme? The Navy SEALs. They call it the 40% rule. When your mind says, "I can't go any further," you still have more to give. David Goggins, former SEAL and ultramarathon runner, learned this the hard way. He ran with his feet bleeding, got up even with unbearable pain, and believe it, he's not a superhuman. He simply refused to listen to the voice of quitting. So when you think you can't go on, ask yourself, what if I'm only at 40%? And keep going. Feelings are irrelevant. What matters is getting the job done. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. You don't need to feel like it to take action. If success depended on feeling motivated, no one would achieve anything. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is simple. Successful people do what needs to be done, regardless of how they feel. You don't need to be excited to train. You don't need to be inspired to work. You just need to start. Emotions fade. Discipline stays. Now you understand what an iron mindset is, but in the end it all comes down to a single choice, and that choice can define your entire life. Because there are only two options. Either you stay weak, waiting for motivation and watching others win, or you take control and become truly disciplined. There's no middle ground, and this is the decision you need to make right now. Close your eyes for a second and imagine this scenario. You're sitting there, looking at your phone screen, watching other people achieve everything you've always wanted. They're growing, evolving, and you're stuck in the same place, waiting for the right moment, for the perfect motivation. That never comes. Now listen closely. There are only two options. You can stay weak, trapped in excuses, watching others win while your life remains stagnant. Or you can take control, become disciplined, and build the life you want. There is no middle ground. Either you take action, or you keep failing. There's no such thing as almost disciplined, half committed, or kind of focused. That's an illusion. You have to decide right now whether you'll stay in this cycle or finally break it. And if you think this is an exaggeration, think about this. How many times have you put things off? How many times have you promised to change only to fall back into the same habits? How many opportunities have you missed while waiting for the right moment? Now answer me. Will you repeat this cycle or will you finally break it? If your answer is to change, then here comes the next step. Words are easy. What separates those who talk from those who act is action. So before the day ends, here's your challenge. Pick one hard action and do it. Wake up at 5 a.m., take a cold shower. Run even if you hate running. Work while others procrastinate. Do that task you've been putting off for weeks. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's difficult. Because discipline isn't a one-time event. Discipline is a lifestyle. And you know what's worse? Time waits for no one. While you delay, the clock keeps ticking. The world keeps spinning. Others keep moving forward. And you? Either you take action now or you stay weak. The choice is yours.